The Vakari Empire had ruled the Andromeda sector for 3,000 years. Their crystalline warships cut through space like shards of death, their plasma weapons reducing planets to ash. They were apex predators in a galaxy that had learned to bow. Then they found Earth. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UNSC Vengeance, his jaw clenched so tight it ached. Behind him, the holographic display showed what remained of New Terra, humanity's first colony world beyond the solar system. Population, 4 million. Now, 0. Sir, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez's voice cracked. We're receiving the last transmission from the surface before the bombardment. Jake didn't want to hear it. He'd already watched 17 similar recordings from the orbital stations. But he owed it to them. He owed them everything. The screen flickered. A woman appeared, holding 2 children close. Fires raged behind her. If anyone finds this, tell them we fought. Tell them we didn't go quietly. Tell them. The transmission ended in white static. Jake's hands became fists. How many ships do they have in this sector? 43 capital ships, sir. Maybe 200 support vessels. Rodriguez paused. We have 12. Good, Jake said, and his smile was terrible to behold. Then they won't have anywhere to run. The Vakari didn't understand humans. They'd studied Earth, observed its fractured nations, its endless internal conflicts. They saw weakness. They saw prey. What they didn't see was what happened when humanity stopped fighting itself and turned that rage outward. The Battle of New Terra lasted 6 hours. The Vakari expected surrender after the first hour. They expected begging after the second. Instead, at hour 3, the human ships began ramming maneuvers. What are they doing? War Master Zek then watched in horror as a human destroyer, burning and venting atmosphere, punched through his flagship's shields at full thrust. The explosion took out 3 Vakari cruisers. They're insane, his second whispered. No. They were human. And the Vakari had just taught them what they were capable of when pushed beyond reason. Admiral Marcus Thompson arrived with the 3rd Fleet 2 days later. He stood in the ruins of New Terra's capital, where bodies were still being pulled from collapsed buildings. A child's toy lay crushed beneath rubble. He picked it up, a stuffed bear, 1 button eye missing. Assemble the War Council, he said quietly. Every nation. Every fleet. Every soldier. Sir, the UN Assembly wants to negotiate. The time for negotiation ended when they glassed a world of civilians. Thompson's voice could have frozen stars. Tell the Assembly this, humanity is going to war. Not for territory. Not for resources. For extinction. The Vakari Empire had never faced a species like humans. Species that lost colonies typically retreated, rebuilt, and returned with caution. Humans multiplied their fleets by a factor of 10 in 6 months. They didn't rebuild their colony, they built weapons. The weapons were horrifying. Captain Rebecca Stone piloted the first Reaper-class ship into Vakari space. It had no defensive shields. No armor worth mentioning. Just engines, a pilot, and a planet cracker warhead that could ignite a world's atmosphere. Reaper 1 to command, she said calmly. Beginning attack run on Vakari Prime. Reaper 1, you have no extraction plan. This is a one-way. I know what it is, command. I'm from New Terra. My family was in Sector 7 when they burned it. Her voice never wavered. Extraction unnecessary. Sending my love to anyone who's listening. Reaper 1 out. She hit the Vakari homeworld at 0.7 light speed. The Vakari tried to surrender after that. They broadcasted on every channel, offering reparations, territory, technology. The human response was a single word, transmitted across every frequency in the galaxy. No. Dr. James Patterson stood before the Galactic Council, the first human to ever address the ancient assembly. The various species looked at him with fear, this representative of the monsters who had dismantled an empire in less than 2 years. The Vakari have petitioned for mercy, the council arbiter said. They claim the attack on New Terra was a mistake, a cultural misunderstanding. 4 million people, James interrupted. Men, women, children. Families. Dreams. Futures. All erased because the Vakari believed might made right. And now you've destroyed 17 of their worlds. You've reduced their population by 80%. When does it end? James's eyes were cold. When they no longer exist. The council chamber erupted in protests. The arbiter slammed his crystalline staff. You cannot be serious. Genocide is. What they did to us, James finished. The difference is, we're better at it. They started this war believing humanity was weak, that our compassion was vulnerability. They were wrong. Our compassion was what kept the monster sleeping. They woke it up. So you'll exterminate them? Every last one. No, James said, and for a moment, the chamber hoped. We'll do something worse. We'll let them live. A few thousand, scattered across monitored worlds. They'll live knowing they were the species that tried to erase humanity and failed. They'll live knowing their empire, their culture, their legacy, all of it crumbled because they mistook kindness for weakness. He leaned forward. And every species in this galaxy will remember, humanity is not to be hunted. We are not prey. Touch us, and we will end you. Not quickly. Not mercifully. But completely. 5 years after New Terra fell, Jake Morrison stood on a rebuilt colony. Children played in parks. Families laughed. Life had returned. But on every street corner, a monument listed the names of the dead. 4 million names. And beneath them, an inscription. Never forget. Never forgive. Never again. Humanity had learned its lesson. The galaxy had learned theirs. The Vakari Empire was now a footnote in history. A cautionary tale. The species that woke the monster and learned too late that some things, once awakened, cannot be put back to sleep. Humanity remained vigilant, their fleets patrolling the stars. They'd hoped for peace among the stars. Instead, they brought something more lasting, fear. And in a galaxy where strength was the only language everyone spoke, humanity had become fluent. The monster was awake. And it was not going back to sleep.